Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tickets Towards Success podcast. I'm your host, Tucker Nanakova, and want to thank you so much for tuning in today. On this podcast, we talk about personal growth, health, fitness, finance, and the mindset needed to thrive in all areas of life. In this episode, we're going to be talking about something that everyone faces in their life, and that is how to stay consistent with fitness when life gets busy, when life gets hectic. So whether it's work, family, relationships, your career, other miscellaneous tasks that come up that are unplanned, or just unexpected chaos in your life, sticking to fitness goals and achieving fitness goals can be very tough. But it's not impossible. That's a good thing. It's not impossible. There's people out there that do it. There's people out there that don't, but you can. I'm here to tell you that you can. And I really wanted to make this episode because I've personally been struggling with this lately. I've had to really rework my schedule in order to maintain my fitness goals and also strive for career goals. I started a new job back in October of 2024, and it's a little bit heavier of a workload. I'm not working remote anymore. I'm working in the office 5 days a week, sometimes 6 if it calls for us to work on a Saturday, but we're usually not. But we're also attending different community events after work some days. It just always depends. My schedule fluctuates. Depending on how late I actually stay, past 5 some nights. So that is what I've been trying to navigate. And I've been trying to make time for my fitness goals because it's important to me. And I want to make sure that I'm getting that into my schedule any way that I can. Right? But we also have to learn to focus. We don't have to learn to, but we also have to continue to focus on other important things in our life too. Whether that be relationships, your family, your kids, if you have them. I have a dog. I have a 2-year-old dog that I want to make sure I'm spending time with. So there's a lot of different aspects that come into this. So we have to really be focused and aware of these things so we can make sure that we're making time to fit them into our schedule. And really today, we're just going to break it down. We're going to talk about how you can keep showing up even if your schedule says that you can't. We're going to make sure that you know that you can. We're also going to talk about why most people fall off when life gets busy and how you can actually avoid that. Then we're going to talk about the mindset shift that really keeps us grounded and disciplined in the long term. I'm also going to give some actionable tips for staying fit on a tight schedule, just like we do in every episode. I love to give actionable tips. That way you can take something with you from each episode. And lastly, I'm going to share my personal strategies and how I've handled fitness during busy seasons, how I'm currently handling fitness right now during a busy season. And I feel like busy seasons don't just come throughout the year, it comes through years of life. I think right now for me personally, I'm sure some others around my age, I'm 25, feel the same. We are really just starting to figure out life. We're starting to really get out on our own. We're starting our careers. We may be looking at houses, having a family, getting married, getting a first car. A bunch of different things are starting to come up where we're really starting to become adults, right? So I think it comes in phases in terms of years. Depending on what age you are, you may be in a different phase, but everything that I'm going to talk about today applies to any point in your life. So if you do enjoy this episode, if you could be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments. Let me know some suggestions that you would like to hear for future episodes. And let me know what I can improve on to make this podcast more relatable to you, the consumer that is listening and or watching. My goal is to reach as many people as possible this year. So if you can, share it with someone that could possibly benefit from these insights. I would greatly appreciate that. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode. And let's start off by talking about why consistency fails during busy seasons of life. So let's just start with the obvious. When life gets busy, fitness typically gets thrown out the window. That's the first thing to go. But why is this? We need to understand why that is before we can start to not throw it out the window, right? I feel like fitness for a lot of people is usually treated as optional. It's treated as a luxury instead of a necessity. I feel like it can also be treated as a second job in some sorts. I mean, I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to do this and it makes us not want to do it, right? It makes us feel like we're going back to work after a long day at work. And that's the feeling that we do not want, because if we can avoid that feeling, fitness is not going to seem like something that we want to throw out the window. We'll actually start to enjoy fitness. And I feel like most people are all or nothing. They think if I can't do my full workout, for some reason that day, then it's not even worth it to do it at all. I really don't have time to go run 6 miles. So, running 3 probably, just probably shouldn't do that. Or I can't go to the gym for an hour tonight. It's not worth it to go for 30 minutes since I won't be doing my full workout. Which in reality, if you can only do 30 minutes, that's okay. If you can only run 3 miles, that's okay. Just go out there and do something, because something is better than nothing. And a big key in this is a lot of us, including myself, rely on motivation way too much. We've talked about this in the past. It's unreliable, especially when you're tired or you're stressed or you're overwhelmed. All 3 of those throw motivation right out the window. And you just want to be at home. You want to sit on the couch, not really do anything, just relax. But that's where that discipline kicks in. And that's what we really need to have. If you'd like to learn how to cultivate discipline, I made an episode on that. I believe episode 3 or 4. You can go back and listen to that. We compared motivation with discipline, and I talked about how to cultivate discipline. But back to consistency. According to research that was published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, it says even small amounts of physical activity are significantly better than none. Just 10 to 20 minutes of daily movement can drastically lower your risk of chronic disease, improve mental health, and boost energy levels. So what does that look like? Walking, biking, running, swimming, lifting, etc., etc., etc. Really anything that you want to do, just it's about getting out and moving your body, right? Not coming home and just sitting on the couch. It's about getting out, moving your body, and doing some form of physical exercise. That's what they're talking about. Just 10 to 20 minutes daily is all you need. So in reality, the problem isn't lack of time. It's the belief that if we can't do everything perfect, we shouldn't do anything at all. And we just talked about this in last episode about the root of self-doubt, which one of those is perfectionism and thinking that everything has to be perfect. In reality, it doesn't. You just have to do it, because consistent work compounds over time. Obviously, we want to have good workouts, but there's also going to be bad workouts. Or there's also going to be intense workouts, and there's going to be not as intense workouts. But we have to make sure we're doing something. Rest days are truly never rest days. On my rest days, I make sure that I get out and walk at least and move my body or do some mobility, stretch, which I'm terrible at, but that's what I know that I need to do. But I always make sure I'm walking. And just to add on that lack of time aspect, if we are serious, if we are truly serious about our fitness goals, if we're truly serious about personal growth, and trying to be better, we will make time for the things that are important to us. We will make time for fitness. We will make time for that side hustle. We'll make time for the relationships that we have in our life. We will make time to get those things done. You have to make time instead of find time, especially if it really matters to us. We will do that. And there's a huge mindset shift that changes everything when it comes to being consistent in fitness during these hectic times in life. Because the truth is that consistency does not mean perfection. It means commitment. And I'm going to say it again, like I always say it. I feel like I say this every single episode, but consistently good instead of occasionally great. Shout out Nick Bear. Shout out that guy. Don't know if he made that up. Don't know if he came up with that, but it is the best quote, the simplest quote to live by. Consistently good instead of occasionally great. You need to show up in some way, especially when life is chaotic, right? You do not have to have 5 perfect workouts every single week. You need to show up to work out 5 days a week, or show up to consistently move your body for 5 days. You might go to the gym for 3 days. You might run for 2 days. You might go to the gym for 2 days, run for 2 days, walk for 1 day. But you have to show up in some way, especially when your life is very busy. And this all depends on your fitness goals as well. Like, you know, if you're training for a marathon compared to an Ironman, your training is going to be completely different. If you're just trying to build some size and build some muscle, it's going to be completely different than someone that is also incorporating running. If you're a hybrid athlete, it's going to be different than someone that's just a bodybuilder. If you do CrossFit, it's going to be different than someone that is training for an ultra marathon. Now, if you're someone that doesn't really have too many fitness goals, you just want to get in the gym, just being consistent with going to the gym and learning new things and trying new ways and trying different methods of training is going to help you get into those goals and actually strive for some goals or find some goals that you want to chase. So that is what I would recommend. It's just about being consistent and putting yourself out there, going into an uncomfortable position and getting to the point where you're working out consistently. And you have to try and shift your mindset, right? If we're someone that is working out, or we have been working out, stop saying I have to do the full workout or I have to do this workout. You need to have that mindset shift to I get to do this full workout, or I am able to do this workout. Be grateful that you have a body that's able to do that workout. You know, there's some days when I'm running, or if I'm doing a training block for running, there's a lot of days where I don't want to wake up in the morning or even in the afternoon after work and go hit a track workout. You know, 10 by 800 meter repeats, don't want to do that at all. But I have a body that's able to do that, and I get to go out and do that. I'm making the time to be able to do that, right? This approach really helps us build an identity around being a consistent person, not a perfect person. And that is the person that we truly want to be. We're not just working out to look good, right? We're building resilience, discipline, confidence. Fitness can become a mental anchor when life is unstable. Whenever I talk about this, I think about running for me, and it's been hard lately just not being able to run. But running for me provides me with so much clarity and confidence and discipline. And it just helps me think a lot better. And I almost like need that now, because since I haven't been running, it's been kind of driving me crazy because I don't get that clarity that I usually get from running. And I think that that can be provided when you go to the gym. I feel a little bit of clarity when I go to the gym, but I build more confidence when I'm going to the gym and working out. That's where my confidence comes in. And it's going to be different for everyone, depending on what you like and what you don't like. And there's a few like practical strategies that you can use to actually stay consistent over time. And I have listed 5 of them, the 5 that I think are the most important, because these are solutions. If you implement these into your life, I almost guarantee that it's going to help you stay very consistent with fitness when life gets hectic. The first one being schedule your fitness workouts like a meeting. So treat your workout like it's a non-negotiable appointment, like you have to be there. Put it on your calendar, set a reminder, and just protect that time as your time. Just like you would if a client was calling you at work or if your boss had scheduled a meeting with you. You have to protect that time. Because when it's on our calendar, we can actively see that it is something that we have to do that day, that we get to do that day. And it needs to be done. You can also write it on your daily to-do list as well. On my whiteboard right behind me, right there, is where I write my to-do list, and I always write my workouts for the next day on there because I do that at night to prepare me for the next day so I know exactly what needs to be done and what I have on my schedule. Now, the second strategy that you can use is you can shorten your workouts. There's a lot of people out there that talk about you only need 3 30-minute focused. They have to be focused sessions. Can be just as effective as a 60-minute workout that is not focused. You can think about circuit work, full body supersets, walks, running. It really depends. It depends on your goals as well. It's always going to depend on your goals when it comes to these. But like I said, all it takes is 3 30 to 40-minute workouts per week to actually gain muscle if that's something you're striving to do, or to build endurance as well when it comes to running. You can do that 30 to 40 minutes, 3 days a week. And it's just as long as you're training effectively and efficiently. So you're having that awareness that you are there to put in work, not there to go through the motions. The third strategy is to prioritize movement, not just workouts, moving your body. If your day is packed, say, I know Nick Bear runs a split. He does chest and tries, back and bis, legs, and then shoulders and arms. So he runs that 4-day split. But he builds in rest days when life gets crazy, depending on his schedule. So say he hits his first 2 workouts Monday, Tuesday. He's supposed to go Wednesday, but something comes up in his schedule. And then he kind of takes that as a rest day with still involving moving his body. And then he just shifts that one to Thursday, Friday. So that's something that you can think about. And just try prioritizing movement on that rest day or any rest days that you're incorporating into your workout program. You can do mobility as well. You can walk stairs. You can try walking during phone calls if you're on the phone a lot. Movement really stacks up. And another thing that I like to do is just set a daily step goal of 10,000 steps. I hit that every single day. And it just helps me a ton with making sure that I'm getting out, moving my body, and also getting outside. It's springtime here in Iowa. Weather is awesome right now. It's like 80 degrees today. So making sure that you're getting outside, enjoying the nice weather is super important, and it's going to be super beneficial as well. The fourth one is just to make sure that your workouts are enjoyable. That's something that should always be done. Listening to your favorite music or your favorite podcast, working out outside can be a lot of fun, especially when it's nice out and enjoying the weather. working out with friends, going for a run with friends, or going to the gym with friends. And if you can't really do any of these, you could always join a workout class. It's a really good community at most gyms that have these workout classes. I don't personally do that because I don't struggle with making my workouts enjoyable at the moment. But I really enjoy working out with my friends, even though I don't get to as much. But joining a workout class or someone that's just trying to get into fitness or someone that doesn't know a lot of people or is just getting bored of what they're currently doing, I think that could be super beneficial because you're joining that community. You got people that are backing you up and encouraging you to eat better, to get better in the gym, to be more fit, and to be stronger. And I think that can be really, really good for a lot of people. Now, the fifth strategy, and probably the most important one, is nutrition. Nutrition becomes even more important when you're trying to stay consistent. Because if you aren't doing as long of workouts, if you can't get a workout in one day, your nutrition has to be spot on in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, such as building muscle, burning fat, losing weight. It just has to be that way. Because when our workouts are limited, fuel becomes our foundational piece, basically. So you have to eat for energy, and you cannot eat for convenience. So prioritize protein, making sure you get 1 gram per pound of body weight, even on those rest days, is crucial. And if your goal is to manage or lose weight, you need to be tracking your caloric intake and make sure that you are either eating under the calories that you're burning or that you're burning more calories than you're eating. You need to drink plenty of water and you need to get plenty of sleep. Yes, I preach getting plenty of sleep and I definitely do not get plenty of sleep, but it is super important. If you are someone that is just focusing on fitness goals and your schedule is a little bit more open, you can prioritize sleep, and you need to be doing that because you're going to see rapid muscle growth. You're going to see rapid fat loss, and it's going to be so much better for your health. So the ways that I actually stay consistent during the busy seasons of life and how I am trying to stay consistent right now in my life. So I'm going to walk you through kind of how I personally handle this in fitness when it comes to life getting busy. Really between different fitness goals, running this podcast, personal responsibilities, and really trying to build a brand, my brand, through content, whether that be through the podcast or the content that I post on my personal pages. I've had weeks where I've really had to just restructure everything because I'm still trying to figure out my schedule because, I had a schedule when at the beginning of this year because I was going into marathon prep and all that. So I had that schedule. And then when I dropped out because I got hurt, my schedule has changed. I can't do some of the things that, at the gym, I can't do some things. I can't run. So my schedule has really had to change. And it's fluctuated a lot over the past month and a half. And I'm starting to get some answers from doctors. So I'm actually starting to restructure my schedule. But really, it's just been about, for me, getting to the gym or getting on the bike or going for a walk and getting my steps in or getting more than 10,000 steps. I've been super bad about mobility and stretching. And for some reason, when I'm not running, I'm super bad about that. So as of 2 days ago, I've been trying to get better at that because I know that it's super, super important. But yeah, I've really just had to restructure everything. So I want to just name a few things that have helped me keep up my fitness, my physique, my endurance, while life has been chaotic lately. And the first one is a little silly, but I have prioritized push-ups. Daily push-up goals or monthly push-up goals. Right now, my push-up goal is, I think it's 2,900 in the month of May. which is it's 94 push-ups a day. So I'm really prioritizing that, making sure that I'm getting that done every single day. And to be honest with you, push-ups is a great way to build upper body strength, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your chest. You can even tighten your core when you're doing those push-ups. It's a good movement to just incorporate into your life. And that's something that I've really prioritized. And I've been doing that for a long time, but it's more so just making sure I'm either doing the 94 or more than 94 every single day. I also walk often. Even if I don't train hard, I move daily, 10,000 steps every single day. That's a must. And then when it comes to endurance, I've switched to biking, and I just started light running. So about 20-minute runs, nothing super fancy and nothing that'll probably really make an impact on my endurance. But I'm just trying to get my body back into running a little bit. I'm doing a running evaluation on June 3rd. So I'll know more about running for the rest of the year, but I'm just trying to get back into it a little bit early. Doctor did not give approval on this, but they also told me, or they also never told me not to do it. So kind of just making my own choice on that one. But I really incorporated the bike over the past month and a half to keep my endurance where it was previously. Also, when it comes to nutrition, I would say that I do very well at this. I'm not someone that's extremely strict. Like last weekend, me and my girlfriend went out to dinner and I ordered a steak. I also had fries. I had a few alcoholic beverages or adult beverages. And we also had dessert as well. And that's just something that, I'm always going to do with, people that I love, or just if I'm going out with family. But most of the time, I'm actually really, really good with my nutrition. I'd say 97% of the time. I prep most of my meals for the entire week. That way I don't have to rely on ordering food or getting food from work that's in our cafeteria that obviously is probably not made with whole food ingredients. But I prep my entire week of lunches on Sundays. I build out my meals on my notes app to know exactly how much protein, carbs, fats, and calories that I eat every single day. And I just eat those meals every single week because it works for me and it makes me feel good. I do switch it up every now and then. For example, I've really not been feeling salmon lately. I don't know why. I've never been the biggest fan of salmon. I eat a lot of wild caught cod, which I really enjoy, but the salmon, I don't know what it is about salmon. I've never been a big fan. So I take a pretty high quality fish oil supplement, so I'm not worried about getting my omega-3s in, but I'm going to be switching that out for something else that is animal based on dinner on one of my nights. So I do switch it up, but for the most part, I eat everything during the week is basically the same. And I also track all my meals and watch my caloric intake. I would say this is like loosely tracked, but not really. I mean, I track it in MyFitnessPal just to make sure. Obviously, I have all my protein numbers, carbs, and fats written down, and calories, but I still do track it just in case if I have, something out of the ordinary or something that's off that agenda to eat for that day. So I'll always just keep tracking that pretty loosely. I don't do it every single day, but I will do it some days. And I've also been able to kind of reframe my fitness as my foundational piece in my life, because I think it's just that important. I do not think fitness is a luxury. I think it's something that we need to be doing every single week and every single day. I think that it makes me sharper in every area of my life. So when I make time for my fitness and my fitness goals, it makes me a better person. I notice a difference at work with my family. I'm a better person in my relationship with my girlfriend. And I feel like I work better on my side hustle as well, which is this podcast and creating content. And I just gain more confidence too when I use this as a foundational piece. And it all starts with awareness. I have this awareness that fitness makes me healthier and that it will improve my longevity of life and also longevity of activities that I can do as I get older. I do want to talk about, like, if I'm traveling or if I'm sick or if I'm injured, for example. I've talked quite a bit about if I'm injured. You just adapt. When it comes to getting injured, it's going to happen sooner or later. It's just what happens. You just have to learn to adapt and do the things that you can do at that present moment and focus on getting better, which is easier said than done. I'm not the best at focusing on that because I have these goals and I want to go out there and accomplish them. And that's something that I'm working on, is just getting better at being patient and understanding that I have to get better. When it comes to traveling or being sick, I just kind of focus on what I can do. If I'm sick, depending on the sickness, if it's just a cold, I'm probably still just focusing on what I can do, but I'm doing the majority of it. If I'm like really sick though, I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting my body rest and trying to get some sleep and get healthy as soon as I possibly can. But when it comes to traveling, maybe that's just getting in some really good mobility work. Maybe that's going for a walk. Maybe you're doing or prioritizing breath work, for example. Maybe it's sleeping more, but just doing what you can. Maybe you can only do a 15-minute run. Maybe you can only do a 20-minute workout. But just do something, right? And try to eat decently well if you're traveling. If you can't eat perfect, it's fine. It's not going to make or break your physique. It's not going to kill you in the long run. You're going to be fine. And I actually recently just watched a video of Higher Up Wellness, which he explains this really, really well. He just went on a vacation to Mexico. So he made a video about keeping up with his fitness while he's gone for a week in Mexico. And he said that he's going to have some adult beverages. He's not really going to watch exactly what he eats. He's just going to prioritize protein and with every meal. And he's going to basically eat whatever he wants. And he's going to try and get workouts in if he can. Like, I think the first day he did like a 15-minute run and just hit some push-pull movements in the gym at his resort. And that's really all he did. And then he's just going to make sure that he's trying to eat the best that he can, but also enjoying the food that is around. And I really like that approach to not only fitness, but to life as well, because, let's be honest, we're not, not every day is promised to be here. So we want to also enjoy life, and sometimes that can involve, for some people, having those adult beverages or eating something that may not be the best for you. But as long as you have that awareness to still get a workout in and still prioritize protein because you have these fitness goals, I think that you'll be just fine. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I really like his approach on that, and I wanted to throw that in this episode as well. Now, throughout this entire process, when it comes to being consistent with fitness and in life's chaos, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace, and there's got to be some realistic expectations there. I just finished a book by Gary Bishop. It's called Unfuck Yourself. And the biggest thing that I took from that book is he has a simple quote in there. It's expect nothing and accept everything. So have no expectations, but accept everything that comes your way. Because let's be honest, there's going to be seasons where you can't give 100%, where you can't hit every single workout. And that's okay. Not everybody is David Goggins. He's one of a kind. Not everyone can live up to his standard. And that is okay. Because what matters most is not falling off completely and doing nothing. Now, missing one workout doesn't mean that you failed, because what separates people that succeed from those who don't is very simple. They are consistently good instead of occasionally great. So just being consistent with what you're doing, fitness, nutrition, moving your body, that's going to get you through those chaotic moments in life while still retaining fitness and striving to chase fitness goals. So give yourself some grace. Don't make excuses, but give yourself some grace and learn to really listen to your body and make sure that you're doing what's best for your body. Try adjusting your expectations, but also don't abandon the standards that you do have. You have to set the standard, hold that standard. What do I mean by that? So you could set the standard that you're going to show up and run every single day at 5 a.m., but you're not going to have, you're not going to expect anything to really come from that. You're just going to set that standard, hold that standard, and accept whatever comes along that way. And that is really where real growth happens. Not only physically, but mentally as well. And I bet that most of us will experience more mental growth than we will physical. And that is very powerful. That's very good. What we should take away from today's episode, and what I kind of took away from just writing this script, is life gets busy, and that is okay. Life is always going to be busy. Life is always going to get busy. And I feel like if life isn't busy enough for you, that you probably aren't trying to chase after your purpose and your passions. So it's okay if life is busy. We just have to really find a routine and a method that works to us when it comes to fitness. And we just have to be able to incorporate a form of fitness into our everyday lives. That's what is most important. We also need to make fitness as a foundational piece in our life. Understand that it is very, very important that you incorporate fitness for your health, your longevity. And who knows, you might find something along the way that you really enjoy, that's your passion, and you want to chase down some big goals. Fitness is not another job, and it's not a luxury. Nutrition is the number one factor when it comes to accomplishing big fitness goals. We really didn't talk about nutrition a lot today, but I do have another episode on nutrition and longevity. If you would like to go and check that out, I can't remember exactly what episode it is, but it is on Spotify and YouTube. So if you'd like to learn more about nutrition when it comes to whole foods or animal-based, like what I eat, be sure to check that out and how that can really impact your fitness goals and your longevity as well. And I just want to say that you can work out 7 days a week. You can do every single movement perfect to a T. But if your nutrition still sucks, you will not get the results you want health-wise. Okay, when it comes to putting on muscle and weight, it's all about caloric intake. And when it comes to getting lean and burning fat and losing weight, it's all about, burning more calories than you eat. But I would never, ever do a dirty bulk. A dirty bulk is just eating whatever you want and eating a ton of calories and lifting a lot to gain size and muscle. I will just never do that because, for one, I like my physique. I like the way I look. But the consequences and the repercussions that come with a dirty bulk, with eating bad and unhealthy food, are not the best. I would never recommend that for anyone. So yes, you can still see improvement by, having a bad nutrition plan and working out, but I wouldn't recommend it. You got to always prioritize protein, carbs, healthy fats. I'll say this, if I have learned one thing over my 2-year fitness journey, it's this: life will always get busy. The older you get, the busier that it seems to get. If fitness and nutrition are important to you, you will make time to fit that into your schedule. You must find what works for you. This will help with the consistency, and it will allow you to continue to chase big fitness goals. I will leave everyone with that. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to today's episode. Thank you for being here with me. Keep collecting tickets, and I will see you in the next episode.